So Manchester United keeps getting linked to a lot of midfielders, and as far as they kept getting linked to lots of midfielders, we'll keep making videos on all of them. And why I like the Manchester United transfer window for this summer is that we keep pursuing Premier League proven talents. And one of the Premier League proven talent that Manchester United is currently pursuing is Alex Scott. And of course, if you're a fan that likes to watch the Premier League and you tune into a Bournemouth game, you're definitely going to catch the attention of Alex Scott because he's somebody that can be able to get you off your seat. He's a player that can be able to get your attention the moment you tune in to watch a Bournemouth game. And this is the kind of player that we should be pursuing because, of course, he has the confidence, he has the swagger, and he has this personality, this charisma, little bit of charisma and swagger to be a Manchester United player. And so we are definitely going to be talking about all the characteristics of Alex Scott today, from the first phase, from the second phase, and how he's going to obviously change the course of our current midfield and how much of an upgrade is Alex Scott going to be. So first of all, if you look at Alex Scott, one of the characteristics you're going to discover from him is that he's a player that likes to take a lot of touches when he wants to play. He's never in a rush whenever he's on possession. He's a player that likes to take one or two or even three touches before he plays the ball, and this actually is going to make him a very big weapon for Manchester United because, of course, he's this player that likes to hold a lot of possession, that likes to play in tight spaces, that likes to beat his man confidently with a good footwork, and he likes to find very hard passing solutions. And this is what I really admire in a lot of the midfielders. There are a lot of midfielders that likes to always go for the easy passes, that doesn't like to find hard passing solution, that doesn't like passing, difficult passes, very hard progressive passes, line breaking passes, and it makes you a very bad midfielder. But if you're a midfielder that likes to try the impossible, just like Bruno Fernandes, then you're going to be a weapon for your team. And this is the kind of player that Alex Scott is. He's a player that one line breaking pass from Alex Scott can turn a defense into a counter attack, and this is a sort of player that if we have in Manchester United, we are going to be very deadly in terms of how we are going to transition, because he's that player that is, I'm going to say that Alex Scott is a pulsar, because he's this kind of player that can be able to hold the ball more, and when you hold the ball more, of course, you're going to attract a lot of players, and when you attract a lot of players, it is going to open a room for the opposition to be exploited, because if you hold the ball and three players approaches you, or more than three players approaches you, it is going to make their position to be vacant, and then that way it is very easy for him to play that line breaking passes that can lead to a goal scoring opportunity. Like you could see against Brentford, he was with the ball, he took a lot of touches of the ball, and before the players of Brentford could realize, he had already given a line breaking pass that almost led to a goal. And so this is the sort of player we need in our midfield, that can be able to be confident in tight spaces, that can be able to receive the ball with his back to goal without being afraid, without being pressured. Even when he's pressured, he's this player that likes to take his time on the ball. If you don't take your time on the ball, just like Casemiro does at Manchester United, where he likes to play those one-time passes, I think it's going to be very easy for the opposition to defend those wide regions, for them to be able to quickly get into space. But of course, if you hold your position pretty well, you're very confident on the ball, you try to take less time on the ball, it is going to get the opposition really agitated, and of course they will want to attack, they'll try to get you off the ball, and the moment they try to get you off the ball, try to attack you and try to get you crowded, it is definitely going to make you a weapon, because then you can be able to exploit the opposition. And this is the kind of player Alex Scott is. So one of the reasons Alex Scott is a technically gifted player and a control technician is because of his close control. He's somebody who can hold the ball very well, but he has a very good close control that he can be able to use to easily beat his man. And this is something that is very, very good in the first phase, because most of the time in the first phase, most players knows how to hold the ball and know how to hold the ball. They don't know how to effectively use their body in the first phase. Alex Scott is a player that knows how to effectively use his body in the first phase. In the first phase of play, Alex Scott is a player that can be able to use two touches or one touch to be able to break the press of the opposition. And this is something that is very, very important, because in as much as you're very confident on the ball, you need to be very, very brave on the ball as well. You need to be very, very unpredictable. You're somebody that can be able to use one or two touches to beat his opposition in the first phase. Despite being very good on the ball, despite being very calm on the ball, I think he needs to also be very brave, and this is something that he can be able to do confidently. And also with Kobe Mino also in the picture, they are very good players in close control, in finding passing solution, in being comfortable on the ball. Pairing Kobe Mino and Alex Scott is also going to be very good in the first phase, because they are very good in terms of holding the ball and playing out from the back. And also he's somebody that can be able to use his hand to carefully shield his player and swivel out of tight spaces. And if you look at the most fouled players in the Premier League this season, Alex Scott is in the top 5 for most fouled players in the Premier League. That tells you that he's a player that constantly gets on the ball and constantly gets the attention of the opposition team. And also in the second phase, of course, in the second phase, you expect him to be able to be very important in terms of playing those final third passes, being able to spray the ball diagonal passes. Alex Scott ticks all those boxes because he can be able to play those long diagonal passes into his wingers or forwarders. He can play line breaking passes consistently. It's not something that he does once in a while. I think line breaking passes is something that he constantly does because, like I said, he likes to play those progressive passes. He likes to spray those long passes. He can play as a number 6. And one of the characteristics of Alex Scott that still shocks me is that he's very aggressive. He's not a reckless player that goes into tackle like Moses Casedo. No, he's the very refined ball winner. He's a player that can be able to constantly recover large distances, win the ball back, and constantly try to recycle position for the team. So in terms of winning the ball, being very aggressive, being very refined in ball winning, constantly winning those balls and turning defense into attack, Alex Scott is definitely very wonderful. In terms of playing those long passes, is also very good. So in terms of getting the player that is technically good, technically sound, good on the ball, good on the first phase, good in playing those long passes, good in scoring goals, good in making assists, good in making progressive passes, Alex Scott ticks all the box for Manchester United. So I want you guys to give me your thoughts on the comment section. If he should be the third midfielder that Manchester United should be going for, or you want any other midfielders, I want your thoughts on the comment section. I want you guys to like, to share, to subscribe to Tactical Trafford. See you guys in my next video.